Hey everyone, hope you guys are doing well. We are back again with another social med lecture video. Surprisingly, we're making some strides towards the end of the lecture series. We have a few more. Hopefully we can do this in the next day or so, because we still have practical lectures, practical slides to do. So yeah, today is Health Management Lecture 9. Lecture 7, to be honest, I had a look. It's only a few slides and it's pretty insignificant compared to the others, so we're just going to leave that. And lecture 8, it's a big one, so yeah, we'll try and do that in the next one, perhaps. We'll just have to see. So today is on health management, everything to do with the manager and the qualities of managing and the team itself. So yeah, we'll take a dive into these topics and these ideas. So yeah, let's begin. So with management, the definition here you can see two, but I suggest you to learn this one. So management is a regulation of a system by decreasing its entropy, all right, or decreasing the chaos. Basically, with managing something, you need to take control of it and reduce the chaotic potential that it could be, so you need to take control of the team, and that's what a manager does. Now what a manager needs is a arsenal of different skills available to him. These include different spheres such as psychological, sociological, management skills, public health knowledge, statistical knowledge, economical knowledge. All this comes under the banner of health management. All right, so it's integrative, the role of the manager. So the health manager is not just automatically, a manager. It has to be given, the title has to be given to him or her. All right, and the manager guides the activities of the personnel within his team or her team. Now, what is the responsibilities of the health manager? Now you can see the health manager is responsible for resources, all right, responsible for activities of the organization, and should be competent and trained. All right, resources, activities, competency. Resources, activities, and competency. So pretty standard when you visualize what a manager should be. All right, now we have to look at the levels of management. Now all this slide tries to bring to you is management in different areas: high management, coordinating management, operating management. Now this can be on a political level, such as the Minister of Health. And if I remember correctly, the Minister of Health is responsible for determining the health policies. Next, on the middle level, coordinating management. This can be applicable for the regional healthcare centers. And finally, the operating management. Operating being the rector of a hospital or rector of the medical establishment. All right, now the managing cycle. Now, how should a manager think, or what should be the mentality of making decisions? So firstly, what a manager should do is think of an aim. Alright, what does he want to achieve? Then he has to make some solutions, and from these solutions he has to identify which is the optimal solution. Alright, and then from this he has to realize these. They have to plan, organize, and execute the plan. Alright, so this is how a manager should think. Okay, and once this has been realized, there should be a final assessment, and there should be feedback as well. Feedback if anything should be improved. So information. Now, information that helps a manager think comes from the aim, and from the aim we go clockwise. A decision should be made from the potential solutions available. A decision is made and it's realized, it's put into plan, and then a final assessment. Make sure when you start a project you have all the required resources. Now, what do these resources consist of? What are the four types of resources we have? We have human resource, financial resource, material resource, and time. And time is the most important one because it is a limited. Alright, time is a limited resource. Now all these here you see are input resources, and whatever we input we get an output resource or output result. Alright, so let's just go into these resources of input. Now for human, we can have human resources. So basically human workers. You can have, your medical staff, and you can have, your patients. Alright, so your human resources can be the people who work for you and the people you're taking care of. Financial, obviously, is money. Material, this is your infrastructure, and I've already mentioned time. Now, the desired output. Alright, what do we want in our output? We want low incidence of disease. Alright, so this is beneficial for us. Alright, we want low incidence of disease. We want a higher quality of life for our workers, and we want higher patient satisfaction, alright, within our healthcare. For input resources and our output, our results, we want low incidence of disease for the patients, high quality of life for the patients, high satisfaction of the healthcare. Now, management of human resources. Alright, so here, management of human resources, what we want to do is we want to mobilize our personnel to meet the aims of the organization and the aims of the people. So we want to utilize our personnel to meet the aims of, number one, the organization, the needs of the organization, and the needs of the people. So managing human resources, we need to utilize the personnel in order to meet the aims of the organization and the people. And the target groups of the medical human resource management should be personnel and patients. Alright. Human resource management should be targeted to personnel and patients. Now, which or what are the general aspects of managing human resources? Now, what a manager here should do is identify who is helpful to the company. We need to identify who is helpful. So we need to plan the personnel. So we need to attract these personnel, these human resources. So first, we need to attract these human resources. That's what a manager should first do. We need to invite these people to the medical establishment, and from this we need to provide high quality health, occupational health and security. Alright, so our human resources should be taken care of. We need to provide these human resources with continuous education and training, and not only that, in order them to remain working for the manager, they need to be motivated and stimulated. Alright, they need to be motivated. So what a manager should do is attract these people. Alright, and we need to provide them with education and motivation and quality occupational health. We need to provide them good health. Now we are moving into the next section here, and management can come under two forms. Management can come under two forms. We can have the formal structure and we can have the informal structure. The formal structure is the structure which is visible to everyone. It is noticeable. It is apparent to everyone. It's apparent. Everybody knows. So what do I mean by formal structure? I mean everyone knows who the manager is, the director is, the chief, the hierarchy. People know the hierarchy, the actual real hierarchy within the company. All right. However, in the informal structure, this is a pseudo hierarchy that is created from the workers themselves. Pseudo hierarchy. And so within the human resources, the workers themselves will occupy themselves within hierarchies. So this is a self-made hierarchy. It's not a formally made hierarchy that's outside of the human resource, but it's something made within. Now we'll see the formal structure is formal. All right, we're talking about formal now. So formal is mandatory. So obviously within every company there is a hierarchy. You have the manager on top, executives, departments, and we have the workers, the main workers, the human resources here. It is a top-down hierarchy. So think of a pyramid with the manager on top and the workers on the bottom. And so the manager is given the official power. It's recognized, it's a real power. It's not a pseudo power. The informal structure is it appears spontaneously on the basis of psychosocial demands of the people. So basically it's just something that's made within the group itself, and it cannot be created, and it's not mandatory. So what this means here is it's not something that's recognized from the company itself, and it's not mandatory, so it's not needed in any way to benefit the company itself. All right, so it's not created and it's not mandatory. It's something that's known. So in your own groups in medicine, you'll see different people, and someone doesn't have to say, oh, I'm the leader, or I'm the resource gatherer, I'm this, I'm that. You already know, don't you? You already know who these people are. Like, intrinsically, it's an intrinsic hierarchy. This intrinsic hierarchy is basically the informal structure. So it's not created, it's intrinsically known, and it's not mandatory for the company. Now this here is a bottom-up direction. Alright, even though it's a pyramid, in reality it's an inverted pyramid, because here, even though in the reality, in the formal structure, these human resources are at the bottom, they can occupy themselves into leaders themselves, into managers themselves, into directors themselves, into different roles. They can occupy different roles that we'll see in a minute. All right, now the leader. We all know the leader is someone who takes the lead. All right, they are the central person in the informal structure. So within the informal structure, people will recognize there is someone who can rally them. All right, now the difference here is, here we see a formal leader, here we see an informal leader. The informal leader does not behave in this autocratic style. However, he is assimilated within the group. He is one of the group. He is not he's not something that's outside of them. He is one of them. He is not appointed the power. He doesn't have an official power. However, people see him as the leader. He motivates them. Okay, now here we can see that there are 5 styles of management, each having their own unique characteristics. So let's go through each. So we first have the autocratic management style. Sorry, let me just close my door. It's kind of loud. Alright. So first we have the autocratic style of management. This is when the decisions are made solely from the manager. So manager makes all the decisions. Manager makes all the decisions. And this situation can be beneficial in certain areas, and this was explained by the lecturer. This can be beneficial, let me put it in a green, positive, beneficial in emergency situations. For example, in A and D, all right. And next we have advisory. So here the manager seeks out suggestions, but ultimately he makes the final decision. All right, so here manager looks for suggestions, but ultimately the decision resides with the manager. The concerned manager or concerned management style. Here the decisions are not taken by the manager, but the decision is done after a team discussion. All right, and it's usually this isn't something we were explicitly told who takes the decision, but I'm thinking here the decision resides with the team, and from the team the manager chooses that decision. All right, so here we have a manager, and the manager gives decisions to the team. The team figures out a decision, and the manager takes it up and delivers that decision. Next we have the democratic. Democratic here is the manager sets out an aim. So the manager here gives an aim, but the team makes the decision. They make the decision, but they give it in regards to the aim given by the manager. Okay, now finally we have the self-regulating manager. The self-regulating manager gives autonomy to his team. All right, so say we have different departments. So say we have a manager, and the manager has different departments. Department A, B, C, and D. And let's say the manager gives an aim. So the manager has a specific aim. However, each department is independently making decisions which coincide with the aim. A has an independent view in regards to the aim. B has an independent view. We have C, which has an independent view. And we have Department D, which has an independent view. So all these are independent, but they all coincide with the aim delivered from the manager. Alright, now motivation. A manager needs to know how to motivate his team. The effective manager requires that the manager is aware in each moment not only what his subordinates, what his team wants, but also what sense and satisfaction they get. Alright, so here it's trying to say, how can a manager motivate his team? How can a manager motivate? So just think for a second, what is a good way to motivate a team if you are a manager? Alright. Fortunately, there was a guy a certain time ago who figured this out, and he created the hierarchy of needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So this is subjective between different people. It's not an objective thing, motivation. It depends where you are right now. Depending on where you are, you independently, right? You depending on what your needs are, the manager can focus and direct his motivation depending on your needs. All right. So if you're someone who is in need of psychological needs, water, food, basic necessities, the basics, the manager can lure you, motivate you to raise you up a level, giving you safety needs, security, family security, financial security. All right, maybe family has some insurance proposals or something like that. All right, and you see wherever you are in the hierarchy, we can meet the motivational needs of someone by increasing the level. All right, so hopefully you understand what I mean by the hierarchy of needs and motivating people based on this, giving them what they don't already have and what they need. Now let's focus on the team. All right, so within a team, especially the informal team, people disseminate themselves into different roles. People have different roles, different personalities, and they will meet those roles depending on their personalities. And these include the following. So of course we have discussed the leader. The leader who is someone, who's stable and powerful and can coordinate the team. Next we have the initiator or the constructor. The initiator is someone who guides the team and guides in the execution of tasks. They are the guiders. The innovators next. They here are the imaginators. They usually have the best intelligence and imagination amongst the group. So normally they are best generating ideas. Alright, so let's write these things down. The initiator is the executor. The innovator is someone who's most intelligent. The innovator, we just did that. The appraiser. The appraiser is someone who can always give you feedback. He doesn't care about your feelings, all right? He doesn't care if it goes against something, all right? He's not influenced by other people. He gives you what is on his mind. All right, this is the appraiser. He is the feedback person. Then you have the company worker. This person realizes the decision. So when a decision is put in place, this person will do all the practical jobs. He will realize the decision that has been made. Then you have the resource discoverer. The resource discoverer describes someone who, well, in the name, identifies new resources. All right? Financial, material, human. And also you had time as well, but you can't really, it's not really palpable, is it? So yeah, financial, material, human. And it's someone who works outside the company. So here's the company. He will be outside, in the world, gathering the resources, gathering useful information, resources. Next, we have the team worker. The team worker is someone who is now this is a bad drawing, but this is supposed to be a bridge. All right, so yeah, just draw my nice bridge. All right, so the team worker is the bridge, the balance between the formal and the informal structure. The formal and the informal, they are the bridge between the two because he is the communicator between the two. He communicates, and from this communication provides information to the informal team, the team worker. The communicator and tries to balance the formal and the informal organization. Then finally we have the performer to the end. The performer to the end participates in the tasks, provides recommendations, and he assesses the tasks to their completion. So he sees and assesses task completion. So we're going to go over this one more time. Team members include the leader, who can lead the team, the initiator, who is the executor of the tasks. All right. Innovator has the most intelligence. The appraiser, who is the feedback, cold, not influenced individual. The company worker, who is the realizer of the decisions. All right. The resource discoverer works outside the company, gathering the financial, material, and human resources. The team worker acts as the bridge, and the performer to the end sees and assesses the task completion. Now, once a manager has established a team, so a manager has made a new team, the team isn't going to be all, buddy straight away. It's going to take time to evolve the team into its final product, into the final product. This evolution here has certain stages. Usually this evolution takes around 2 years to fully mature. All right, so let's see the different stages. First, you have the undeveloped team. There isn't a real relationship. All right, there isn't any real aims of the team. This is just a newly made team, new team. Then now you have the experimenting team. Here, people are trying to see how to work with each other. People are trying to figure out how to work with each other, becoming a bit more self-analytical. Problems are beginning to be discussed, and personal opinions are being considered by others. However, it's still in the early stages. Now, moving on, we have the self-controlling team. Here, people are becoming more self-analytical, and People are beginning to build personal relationships. This is in favor of the aim. The tasks are clear, the aims are agreed. All right. So these relations are beginning to be made in favor of reaching the goal. And finally, we have the final form, which is the mature team. The mature team here is what you want in a team. You have the personal relations. You have flexibility. People are not so strong on their own opinion. They can take the opinion of others, have open minds. Okay, this is your mature team, the final form of the team evolution. Now, changes in the organization. Now, changes are inevitable. Change is inevitable. But change can range between a partial change in the organization or a fundamental change in the organization. All right. A partial change is a small change. All right. Now, a partial change is something that does not change the aim. The aim is still intact within the partial change. All right. So let's say we have a medical establishment and the aim here is obviously for taking care of the patient healthcare in the medical establishment activities listed. However, let's say COVID happens. The medical establishments have to adapt to this. And how do they adapt? They may include COVID departments. However, this change here, being a partial one, we still contain our main aim. Our aim is still the same, which is that of which resides within the medical establishment and the activities listed, taking care of the patients. Now, fundamental, on the other hand, is a change that does change the aim. Change the aim is changed, is a change in the mission, the methods and the means. So let's say another example, for whatever reason, maybe a hospital has to change into a medical center, maybe because this hospital is in a more remote area, not many patients come to this area. However, a medical center would be much more beneficial for this remote population. So a change in the aim from hospital to medical center is a fundamental change. Now, with change comes resistance. Resistance to the change. Resistance can come from the source, and the source can be inner or outer, within the organization, outside the organization. Now, within the organization, maybe this is from the workers. Maybe the workers have grown tired. They are not motivated anymore. Lack of motivation in the workers. And so they have this uprising against the organization. All right. Maybe the style of management isn't sitting well with the workers. Some things to ponder about. The outer resistance, however, is things outside of the company. Maybe there's a political resistance. All right. Maybe the public doesn't want a hospital to be built or a medical center to be built. Maybe there isn't any economical incentive. Maybe there is some legislation or cultural factor which basically makes a barrier towards this. There could be reasons. Individual resistance. This basically describes individuals, perhaps nurses or other workers. Individual resistance.